Fran, I mean, Michigan made that run, they took the lead, then you guys answered that. Just talk about what the difference was down the stretch.
You know, it was interesting because, we seemed to be a little tired. Timeout came at a good time. You know, they went up 7:59. But we got the stops we needed. You know, we were changing defenses throughout the whole game, and we kind of went back and played some man-to-man, and it was good. The zone was good at times. The man-to-man coming down the stretch was effective, and then, obviously we were moving the ball, got some good shots. CJ made some big shots. I thought Greener's three might have been the biggest shot of the game, but CJ made one coming right out of that, and that's what you need in that situation.
What did you like about the big lineup tonight? It seemed like you.
Well, Greener was spectacular, so it starts with that. I mean, in the first half, he was the difference in that big run. But it gives you more options of some things that we can run on offense. It's good if we're playing zone to have two big guys out there to contest and rebound in traffic. But the thing about it is both those guys can make threes, both those guys can pass and catch. So, there's times when you want to be smaller, but going big is not a bad way to go for us, especially with those guys.
Fran, what did you do well to keep them off the free throw line this time? Five.
Well, we played a lot of zone for the sort of the middle portion of the game, the second half of the first half, and most of the first half of the second half. That'll typically keep you out of foul trouble.
Right, second straight Friday where you guys have had this bad weather, fans showed up. It seemed to make a real difference for you guys both.
Huge difference. It's going to make a huge difference no matter what. But I thought in particular, like I said, you know when they come to the bench if they're tired or not. They were tired. We played some guys a lot of minutes, heavy minutes. So they just go take the lead, and we got a tired group, and we got to toughen up. And that's when you need the fans. That energy level that they provided, especially when we made that first basket, was all the difference in the world. It's just amazing. I was shocked last week, to be honest with you. We had the crowd we had, and same thing this week. This bad snowstorm, and these people showed up in force, and they were into the game and impacted the game.
We've, taking nothing from your players, but if only 5,000 people show up and you couldn't have faulted them, would you have won?
I'd like to think that we would still have won. We have enough mental toughness, but the reality is you want to play home games if you can. You want to have that atmosphere, and this team has, I think, really excited our fan base, and they've responded to them, and hopefully that will continue on Wednesday.
Speaking of toughness, you look at Connor, his stat line and what he was able to do. He had almost half your offensive rebounds. He had 13 rebounds total, 5 assists. 0 for 2, but he did everything you pretty much needed tonight. What is he bringing to this team that allows everybody to succeed?
Well, he helps you in so many different ways. He played point guard coming down the stretch. He started at the 4 spot, played some 2. Was all over the glass, obviously, and fed the post and moved the ball to CJ, to Weezy when they were open. He'll find you. It just steadies everybody down when he's out there. You look at some stat lines. Okay, 38-25 on the glass. All right. Well, he was maybe the biggest part of that. 22 assists on 27 field goals. He was a huge part of that. He wasn't the only one. PK had 5. CJ and Joe had 3. We're going to throw the ball to Luka, so we got to get it to him. It's got to come from different locations. Typically, when they make 10 or 11 threes, they win. So somehow you have to combat 11 made threes. Obviously, we made 9, which is good. But it's the rebounding and the assists and the ball movement and then the critical stops we needed.
I know you say that you expect Frederick to play the way he's played, but 2 games back from a stress reaction in 38 minutes and a performance like that's otherworldly, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing about it, Mike, is, it's kind of what he's always done. So when I say I'm not surprised, and I'm not just saying that because I love the kid, which I do, he has been a gamer like that his whole life. Huge shots, big games, road atmospheres, sold out buildings. I told you before, Rupp Arena, 15,000 people, 33, state championship game. This is what he does.
You look at the atmosphere tonight and the intensity of the crowd and the situation, it's like January basketball, the way people used to view it before everybody got to become a bracketologist or something like that.
I think that's a great point because, sometimes, we tend to forget and not appreciate the regular season the way we should. It really bugs me when I'm watching TV and it's December 9th. Who's in, who's out? Who knows? Guys are going to become eligible in the second semester. Teams are going to have injuries. Teams are going to get hot. And you're right. I get the whole bracketology thing, but I used to make jokes when I was on the iClub circuit. We're a 7 seed in Tampa. If anybody wants to make their reservations now, just look at what Joe Lenardi says. And that's kind of where we've come. But I think for years, that's what made the Big Ten what it was. Atmosphere everywhere you go is an atmosphere like this. It's a grinded out, tough, physical game. Guys have to respond. Guys have to win close games. You got to win on the road, and the fans enjoy it and appreciate it. And then at the end of the year, we'll figure out who goes to the tournament. But I guess it's just changed.
It just seems like Iowa, Michigan. 100 years, you guys, these two teams have played
Right.
each other, and you had a great game in Ann Arbor. You have a great one here.
Right.
Atmosphere just seems to be the essence of what you want.
Exactly, and hopefully, the fans who showed up in force and really responded to this team, I hope they appreciate it, like you said.
You talked about Ryan glowingly the last few weeks, but do you feel like he's kind of underappreciated or overlooked from other teams when he comes in and get 11 in that 5-6 minute spurt?
I don't think so, because I know how much tape they watch. If you're watching tape, I guarantee that staff watched every game we've played probably twice. If you're watching tape, you appreciate Ryan Kriener.
5 minutes into the game, you call a timeout, and you obviously weren't happy, but we haven't really seen a lot of that this season. Is it just the makeup of this team?
They're not a big mistake bunch. They think the game. We made, I wasn't pleased at the end of the half. We had a foul to give. They scored at the buzzer. I might have pointed that out in halftime. But for the most part, you're right, Mike. I'm not blowing up. I'm not blowing up for good reason. I think you have to be careful too. If you are going to go there, what happened, and what do I hope to get out of it? You start ripping them with 1:20 to go, that's not going to do anybody any good. So if you do it earlier, because there's 3 or 4 things that we had talked about over and over that we didn't do, that they get. So if you're going to get on them, it has to make sense to them, because they're good kids and they're smart. And they understand that. If you just yelled for the sake of yelling, then they just turn you off, and coach is crazy.
Take one more question.
Michigan went on, I think, a 14-2 run there, and then CJ came out, and they were up 7. I think CJ came out, hit that 3. How important was that, just to kind of get you guys back into it?
Well, it was huge from a couple stages. It gave us the confidence to come back, because we were pretty much relying on Luke up until that point. But it also re-energized the crowd, responded to that shot, and they were on fire the rest of the night. So it was big.
Okay,
Thank you.